This playthrough is rated M for mature.
Greetings and salutations, viewers. Vauldemare back here with another episode of Jade Empire. In the last episode, we explored a bit more of the Golden Way, exploring the city, the jewel of the Empire, and then we finally ran across the Silk Fox, or princess herself. But while she's out and about, she's got to go incognito. It is, and as the Silk Fox, unfortunately, with that in mind, she can't use her princessly powers to stop random guards from attacking us. So I don't know how much useful that's going to be, but all right. Looks like a little dialogue box popped up overhead. Fair princess, what do thou wish to talk about?
Hello again. I enjoy our little chats, but I don't think anything has changed since we last spoke. I still need evidence against Death's Hand to free my father. Meet the executioner in the arena, or speak with Scholar Dungao in the Scholar's Garden about the Inquisitor. Hurry, or you'll lose your chance to help your master.
All right, calm down. Well, excuse me, princess. No, maybe I should have saved that for later. Or did I use that earlier? I may have. It's probably been months since last time I met her previously to this and a couple of other episodes before. But I want to ask more about this evidence you want.
We've gone over this. Death's Hand is using the prisoners who should be working on the wall to construct some sort of personal army of golems. My father probably knows something, but not the true danger of it. I need to show that Death's Hand intends to seize control. The Lotus Assassins act for Death's Hand. There has to be proof of his evil intent in the Lotus Assassin Fortress. That is where you need to go.
All right, calm down, princess. Excuse me, I want to talk to you about the Emperor. Ooh, we'll get that here in a second. I want to talk to you about the Emperor.
My father? What do you want to know that isn't already public knowledge? Emperor Sunhai is well known and well loved. Death's Hand is wearing away at that reputation, however, and I need to stop him before it goes too far.
I mean, isn't he the Emperor? Doesn't he have a lot of sway? Would this man or whatever have this much power to sway an Emperor? I don't know. It just seems too easy. But I could be wrong. Maybe Death's Hand is a whisper. He's like Wormtongue from Lord of the Rings. Whispers the silver tidings into the ear of the Emperor, cursing him or something like that. See, when did okay? When did Death's Hand join your father's court?
He has been present for as long as I can remember, but he only rose to prominence after the end of the long drought.
I see. Interesting. What was your father like before this began?
My father was very caring when I was a child. Now he is cold and distant. I know Death's Hand is corrupting him somehow.
Well, perhaps he's busy, or, when you're an emperor, you got a little bit more things to do than caring for your child. Not that you should completely ignore that, but, sometimes things get away. Do we have a cats in the cradle situation here? No? Okay. Anyway, other questions?
I will answer what I can, but you have other things to do as well.
There's just something about seeing, a beautiful set of eyes behind a mask. Just you focus on it in I don't know, just something about the princess's eyes just makes me want to forget why we're doing this. I mean, I want to talk about you. What has your servant given? Why is your servant giving me a gift?
Did you like it? I thought you might want a little assistance. Consider it a small token of my favor.
Well, princess, giving me things like that is gonna chip away at this height of ice, perhaps, or not. I don't know. I question your motives. I do trust you. Yet trinkers for spoiled princesses are useless to me. Now, technically, I should be acting like that, but I appreciate your gift. Appreciate your gift.
I thank you for your courtesy. A woman always likes to hear when her gifts are appreciated. It is difficult for one of my rank to give gifts, even one so simple as what I gave you. A princess is not normally allowed to show favorites.
Well, I guess it depends on... Well, it depends on where you're a princess of or from or where, but I guess in this culture, they're not allowed to show favorites to just to civilians, I guess. Then why take the risk? Where did you find it? Your favor means nothing to me. You're useful so long as you help me. Oh, man. Sometimes you always want to be a dick, but sometimes you want to... And then why take the risk?
Better that I give it away before Death's Hand carts it off. He has been quite brazen. Besides, it was mine by birthright to do with as I wish. Must I always be dictated to by tradition, despite my respect for it? Sometimes I want what everyone else has, to be myself. And to be myself, I gave you what I wished.
I want what's out there in the great wide wonder. Something, something. I don't remember the song from Beauty and the Beast. Or, what's another song about a princess about wanting what more? I'm trying to remember the song from Aladdin that Princess Jasmine sings. Or the song that Ariel sings for Little Mermaid. Or... oh, what's another Disney princess song that basically is the same gosh darn thing? Yeah, princesses kind of get the same cliche story bit to them for the most part, but you know, it's trying to do something against what they've been forced to do. Which, I mean, you could say a lot of archetypes are like that, but I mean, I'm not too annoyed about it here. It's just funny when you hear it. You've heard it so many times in stories. Let's see. I thank you for the gift. It is a noble duty to face hardship. It is a burden you must bear. The power of royalty is the power to command, and your father will not live forever. Oh, that would be good. I thank you for the gift and the risk you took giving it.
Well, you're polite at least. Most nobles take gifts as a matter of course, especially those from a woman. But the price I may pay for helping you could be greater still. I am destined for the throne, destined to rule the Empire after my father, but that will be meaningless if Death's Hand keeps his hold on my father's mind. I fear one day he may try to interfere with the Imperial succession. Or perhaps convince my father that he should be Emperor by marriage.
Ooh, well, that's a classic move, isn't it? Like Jafar from Aladdin and stuff like that. Whisper sweet nothings in the ear and then convince him to marry this creepy old man. Or actually, we don't even know what Death's Hand looks like underneath that mask. It could be a Bashonin, or it could be some ugly dude. You know, although beauty is not the beholder, but you know what I mean. Can I allow such a travesty happen? Your flower would wither only under correct conditions. It doesn't really matter, since I will kill Death's Hand soon enough. Your flower would only wither under such harsh conditions.
You forget yourself. You should not try so hard to flatter a princess. The attentions of royalty have their own price. In any case, I would never allow Death's Hand such liberty. I would bite my own tongue before allowing that man to touch me. I'm sorry, I've ruined the mood. We should continue our talk another time. First, we must expose Death's Hand, reveal his treachery and manipulation.
All right, princess. We'll talk about this later. Goodbye for now. Flee!
I wish you luck. Once you have gained the trust of the Lotus Assassins, we will plan how to proceed.
You know, you can tell that the game was designed to have these conversations with your characters back at base. Because she said, I'll go now. It's like, but we're still traveling together. And the princess is like, well, that was weird for me to say that. We're still traveling together. I'm like, yes, that was awkward. Let's do something now before it gets worse. All right, anyway, let's go to the Scholar's Garden and see about this, rube of a foreigner who's causing trouble. Or at least I think that's where we're headed. Ooh, a scroll stand. Time to read or pick up something. Ooh, configuration of the snake. A new configuration. Let's see what, whoops, come on. Come on. There we go. All right, configuration of the snake. You found this academic leaflet and kept it. The crux of the argument reads, to think that any machine could be designed around the principles of starting motion with a tiger of all things is to dally with utter madness. As if this was not enough, no machine made by the hands of man can be fueled by iron infused with nickel. The resulting metal, while strong, is inert to reaction. Even applications of electric current and the introduction of chimney smoke into a mechanical cauldron as proposed produced no applicable results. Well, I think we actually have iron, so I can actually do this one. I'll have to come back whenever I get back to base. I'll have to look that one up again. So, all right, Scholar Dong Di. Actually, before I do that, I want to make an extra save here point. Not that I can't get back to your off screen really quickly, especially since the last few moments were with the princess. But what's going on?
Welcome, friend. The lecture won't be starting for a little while, though your enthusiasm is appreciated. I wouldn't worry about seating. Those interfering philosophers had made sure that very few people will be attending the lecture.
Wait, what are we doing now? Oh, the Inquisitor, right. I forgot he's here, too. I see. Could I ask you a question? I'm not here for a lecture. I just want answers. I see. I'm not here for a lecture. I just want some answers.
Oh, that's too bad. Perhaps after I've answered some of your questions, you will change your mind. What would you like to know?
Well, like I want to know, where did you get that awesome hat? No. Can you tell me where to find the Inquisitor recruiter?
What? Huh, that's quite a question. I'm not sure who told you, but I'd appreciate it if you would keep your voice down when asking those kinds of questions. Nobody here suspects me to be anything but an overzealous scholar, and I'd like to keep it that way. So you want to know about the recruiter? You have a flying machine, do you not? Yes, I know about that. Go back to the landing area and someone will meet you there.
Wait, oh, is he the recruiter, or is he like a go-to guy? Oh, that was convenient. Why should I meet the... How do I know this isn't a trap?
If the Lotus Assassins wanted you dead, your life would be over before you even knew you were in danger.
Yeah, I don't think you have the levels or my skill to do that, but we'll just pretend to... Or we'll just agree to disagree. Why should we meet there?
The location is public, yet relatively private. Common folk are not welcome on the landing area, so there will be no crowds to hide spies, or an ambush.
Well, and I do have my followers waiting there too, so even is even. Until the Inquisitor recruiter, I'll be there.
He already knows, I'm sure. Now go, and I will not speak to you about this any further.
Your course is set. The Inquisitor will be waiting at your camp. Appease him, and you'll be on the road to appeasing me.
What do you mean by that, princess? You're being a bit suggestive there, if I do say so myself. Perhaps I'm imagining it? Alright, ooh, 4 silver. Yay! That probably... Well, destroying a priceless vase is all the more worth it.
Oh, good to see you again, my friend.
Yeah.
Have you...
Sorry, I'm just here for some info.
Certainly. We can't learn without asking questions. How can I help you today?
I don't know why I skipped that part. I think I felt like he was repeating himself. It was probably slightly different, but tell me about the Scholar's Garden.
Don't let the name fool you. There are fewer scholars here than you might think. We are far outnumbered by those obstinate philosophers. The philosophers believe that the gods dictate everything, from the rising of the sun to the changing seasons. If the summer ends too soon or too late, the gods must be angry. Of course, anyone who cares to look can see that the birds control the weather. I have noted with some accuracy that the birds predict the seasons.
Is that an actual thing? Well, actually, isn't... I guess it is, technically. If you look at nature, sometimes they have a weird sixth sense about things. You know, how they say, like, dogs and cats can, like, predict... Well, not predict, but can kind of feel earthquakes coming before humans can. Or, yeah, birds can kind of tell, like, weather phenomena. Well, maybe not weather, but, like, certain things by flying off, you know. It's like, uh-oh, it's going to be winter soon or something like that. So it's, I don't know all the details. I know animals do have, like, if you look at animals, you can kind of guess certain things without, you know, machines and all this other stuff. But it's hard to, anyway, I don't know what I was going with that. But anyway, really, how does that work?
I have a theory that the massive movements of birds in the autumn and spring actually cause the prevailing winds to change direction. When birds fly south just before autumn, they cause the winds to change. And we get cold air from the north until the spring, when the birds reverse the winds again. It's really quite simple, but just try telling that to one of the philosophers.
Okay, you're saying birds are the thing that affect the weather. Okay, you're cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs there. Why do you mistrust the philosophers?
Don't get me wrong, I like most of the philosophers, but their strict adherence to aging traditions makes them very difficult to deal with. They're always preaching about peace and harmony. Really, we kill and subdue the creatures of this world in order that we can survive. Where's the peace in that? Can a man survive long enough without eating meat? What about the grains we use to make our bread, or the hides we use for any number of things? We consume constantly. Peace and harmony are wonderful ideals, but in nature only the strong survive, and they don't do it by being peaceful.
Well, I mean, I think humans can eat meat for quite a bit of time without like, isn't it possible to stop eating meat, period? Although I've heard, I mean, yeah, some vegans and other people might want to say differently, but I've heard eating meat kind of, without eating any meat, just like going strictly vegetable because humans are omnivores, can cause, like, you to be sickly or you might be missing certain ingredient or nutrients or something like that. I'm not saying people should start eating meat, but there might be a way to, like, people looking into getting something that would give you the... Actually, I guess you could take vitamins. Aren't there certain vitamins that kind of reproduce the effects of certain meat and stuff like that? Well, anyway. What is this lecture about?
I'm glad you asked. Today I will speak on my theories of cloud formation. That was my first major discovery, though it hasn't been widely accepted yet. The basic principles are really quite simple. I deduced after lengthy study that clouds are formed by the moisture escaping from our bodies. When the weather is cool, you can clearly see small clouds escaping from people's mouths. Similar clouds form on the skin of people working strenuously in the cold. These clouds of breath rise up and collect near the tallest peaks, where it is almost always cloudy. This was one of my finest discoveries.
Wait, you're talking about clouds forming because people talk in the cold? What? I guess maybe it's my modern mentality or the fact that I understand how clouds are formed that this makes it rather silly indeed. These people call themselves philosophers or scholars. I guess people have their own type of intelligence in different time periods or worlds or whatever. That is rather strange. I think I'm done talking to you, my friend. Perhaps I should just turn around and just go this way. See you later.
Oh, so soon. All right then. I hope to see you again soon. Perhaps I could explain to you my theories on the formation of ice crystals.
That's gonna be interesting. Alright, well anyway, you just keep doing whatever you're doing and I'll just go back this way, I shall. Okay. Alright. Sorry about that little cut there. I had a little bit of a weird issue with my video capture. So anyway, back onto the game. Let's actually, we don't even need to do this, do we? Focus. Focus.
Come and learn about the ways of sagacious Tien. Free your body, mind, and spirit.
You sound like a hippie or something like that. Ooh, another scholar sand. What does this one have? The physical universe, the scholar's hypothesis, to suggest that I, of all people, do not understand the significance or the importance of the celestial beings is preposterous. I pay my tribute at the temple because I honor those who gave us our minds and our curiosity. Philosopher Jiang ignores the crux of the problem by hiding behind this arguments of divine belief. The scholars have made some recent discoveries, such as the way in which clouds are formed, but the philosophers, led by Jiang, dismiss these theories without even hearing them out. How can we progress as a society if we refuse to accept new ideas and new concepts? The philosophers would have us cling to our traditions, even at the cost of our own prosperity. Okay. Anyway, the Garden of Scholars.
Lost, citizen?
No, I know where I am, but tell me about this place. What can you tell me?
The Scholar's Garden is a quiet place. Quiet until a pair of the scholars break out into a debate, that is. Certainly a lot of knowledge being thrown around this place. I'll let you decide for yourself how much of it is worthwhile.
So are you, it almost makes me want to compare, like, other, like, political matters, like, or philosophers, like the House of Commons or something like that. Although I haven't watched it regularly, but man, they will throw out some insults and more than, like... There are certain countries in the world where their representatives are, like, ridiculously aggressive and, like, almost go childlike when they don't agree with them, despite them all being adults. It's kind of funny in a weird way. Let's see.
I'm afraid not.
Yeah, we know that. Yeah, repeating. I guess all we really need is about what he can tell us about the area. So, all right, princess. Let's see what these scholars have to offer. Ooh, more reading. The physical universe, the philosopher's viewpoint. Though scholar Xiao Shang has raised several interesting points in his rebuttal to my treatise on the physical world, his lack of respect for the divine is of greater concern than his lack of understanding of the physical world around him. I agree that there are many aspects to our world that cannot be explained by divine influence alone. We learn and continue to thrive at the mercy of the celestial beings. Without their guidance, and indeed their blessing, we would quickly discover their research and understanding our physical world alone are not nearly enough for us to survive. Okay. Ooh. Scholar Zenu? Whatever.
Hello there, traveler. Forgive my forwardness, but I noticed your arrival earlier while I was at the tavern. That flying machine of yours is truly a marvel. I actually have a design for a new prototype flyer, and I hope to get funding to build it one day. The other scholars aren't interested in my inventions, though.
Why? This guy's voice actor sounds very familiar. Like, I might have heard it in some kids' cartoons before, but I can't really pinpoint it. And why would my particular flying machine be a wonder? Aren't they pretty much everywhere? Like, rich people or the army have them? Or am I just thinking that because we have one that every Tom, Dick, and Harry has one? But slow down. I need to ask you something.
I apologize. The masters always remind me not to get ahead of myself. What is it you would like to know?
Yeah, he's really... I'm just trying to remember where I've heard him before. Yeah, I'll probably think about it one day. Who are you? What is it you do here?
Oh, I'm Scholar Zenu. I'm one of the newer scholar elites. I was actually born in the poor quarter, but my uncle brought me here when I was only 10. He knew I would never have a chance at a real life unless I had some proper schooling. I've lived here with him ever since.
Yeah, he sounds like the guy who voices Ron Stoppable and Kim Possible. I can't remember his name now. I think he also voices a character in an RPG that I liked, but no one ever talks about. It was like, oh, I'd have to look at my. It's like a PS2 game. It was like you play as a pirate. Oh, that's gonna bug me now. I have it on my counter, but I don't want to get up and look at it. Maybe in the next episode, I'll remind myself to mention it. Like what? But he sounds like the main character from that game. It might be the same guy. It was around the same time period. Tell me about the Imperial City.
That's right. You're new here, aren't you? Well, where should I begin? There's so much to tell you. There are several important areas here in the city. Of course, there are also many different services, too. I'm not sure what to tell you first.
I think the guy who did the voice was also on, like, Boy Meets World or something like that, I think. But I can't remember the name, though. Old age, I guess, and incompetence. Just tell me the important places.
Sure. Well, let's see. This place is the Scholars' Garden. For the most part, only stuffy old philosophers and scholars reside here. Farther down toward the city, you'll find the Golden Way. Many wealthy people live and work there. Hopefully some willing to fund one of my inventions. Then there's the Market District, near where you landed earlier. Most of the city does its business there. It's an interesting place. At least, I think so. You'll also find the path to the Black Leopard School there, across the river from the arena. I haven't been there, but I hear it's an interesting place to visit.
Well, not anymore. Not after I took care of it. What was that? Nothing. Tell me about the city services.
One of the best places in the city is the arena. Just don't tell my masters I said so. If you go to the arena, you'll also see the heart of the Empire Tavern. And of course, there are several shops and merchants with all manner of supplies available. All of that can be found in the Market District.
Man, apparently this philosopher dude or scholar, whatever you want to call him, has a bit of a bloodlust streak. I guess a lot of people are when you think about it. Tell me more about the tavern.
I'm not supposed to go there. At least not when I'm studying, but it's hard to resist. It's known as the best tavern in all the Empire. I actually do some of my best thinking while I'm there. I like to sit in the upper rooms with a bit of wine and just look out over the city, or the arena.
I guess sometimes people get their best tales in a bar while drunk. Well, I mean, if you've watched Drunken History, maybe, but what can you tell me about the arena?
It's one of my guilty pleasures, I have to admit. When I was a little boy, I used to dream of fighting in the arena. My uncle had other plans, however. At any rate, watching those fighters compete is one of the most exhilarating experiences. You look as though you can handle yourself in the arena. If you're interested in fighting, you should speak with Kui the promoter. You can find him in the heart of the Empire Tavern most of the time.
Well, thanks. You know more about than I was expecting. Different type of knowledge from you. That was rather interesting. I'd like to go back to my other questions about the city.
Of course. What do you want to know?
You know, for having a voice of a character actor, a voice actor before, I think this is like one of the few times we hear this voice in this game, if I remember correctly. It's always weird when they get more well-known voice actors to voice roles, yet you only hear them like a couple of times. You think they voice them more often. But maybe it's because they're distinct that you don't want to hear the same voice actor, because then you're like, oh, he was this guy too. But it's kind of like when Steve Bloom voices random characters in the game or whatever, especially if he's already a main character. It's it's almost distracting because I've recognized his voice. I'm like, oh, there's Steve Bloom again. Anyway.
Sure. What would you like?
All right. Ooh, here we go. What can you tell me about Death's Hand?
Now there's a question you don't hear very often. Not too many people like to talk about him. In fact, if I were you, I'd be careful who I ask. I'm not one to believe in superstitious nonsense, but I still wouldn't want to draw his attention. He's very powerful and very dangerous. Some people even suggest that he has gained some control over our honorable emperor. I find it hard to believe, but I suppose it's possible.
Man, it's almost like Death's Hand has the same, like, power of stopping people from talking about him as, like, Voldemort or other such, you know, famous evil people, or like the Boogeyman or something like that. Have you heard any interesting rumors lately?
A city like this always has rumors. Some people say the ghosts are angry and attacking innocent people. Another rumor suggests the Emperor is dying. But I wouldn't believe any of that. Just because the Emperor hasn't been seen in a while doesn't mean he's ill. Perhaps he just wants some solitude.
Perhaps he's a ghost, just like that one guy in the Black Leopard School. He was a spirit. They're all over the place. What else can you tell me about the Emperor?
The Emperor is a wise and powerful man. How else could he have solved the drought so many years ago? I wasn't born then, but I've heard the stories. It's true that he hasn't been seen much recently, but I don't think it's anything to worry about. It's not like the Empire is falling apart in his absence. Maybe he's just taking a rest from all the hard work he's done. Nobody deserves a rest more than the Emperor.
Depends on how much work he does, I guess. You mentioned something about ghosts before?
I think they are just rumors. I haven't seen any ghosts at all, angry or otherwise. If the ghosts are angry about something, why aren't they here right now? Come to think of it, I don't know any one person who's ever seen a ghost. I prefer to spend my time and energy on things that are real. Designing a new prototype flying machine, now that's important.
I'm kind of like that in real life. I'm just like, don't talk to me about superstition, all that other stuff. Tell me about, because there's too much crap to deal with in the here and now to deal with supposed ghosts and all this other stuff. But
sure. What would you like to know?
But anyway, but yeah, you talk about have you seen a ghost? Well, you've talked to a man who's seen a ghost, but we're not going to mention that apparently. I must be going. I have to go now.
All right then. Goodbye.
Well, that was an interesting talk. He seems quite ecstatic. Here's another philosopher. You got to talk our ear off, dude. Philosopher Shindoa? Yes, come closer. I cannot see who you are. Is that you again, Zenji? I know it is not. I can tell by your breath. Please, come no closer. What is it you want with old Shindo, then? I want to get back to my meditations before I pass away from old age. Oh, aren't you scampy? I may ask you a few questions. I'll leave you to your studies. Be calm. May I ask you a few questions? All day long I'm besieged with questions, Master. What does the seventh dictate? Master, how do we achieve inner peace? Master, when is dinner? It's a wonder that I get any peace at all. I'll go on, but be quick about it. What is it you do here? If you don't already know, I doubt I can explain it to you. The ways of the philosopher can't be described in such a short time. I'm the eldest philosopher here, and so I have no end of people chasing me about and asking any questions. Just like me in real life. No, tell me about Death's Hand. Oh, I see your senses have truly left you. You don't have to be a master to know that questions like that could get you into trouble. If you want to know something about that fiend, I suggest you ask him yourself, though I doubt you'll have the temerity to do so. Wow, I haven't heard that term in forever. What do you know about the Emperor? Which Emperor? There have been many, you know. You must make your questions more clear if you want a clear answer. I will assume that you meant Emperor Sun Hai. I can tell that I know a great deal, most of which you have no need to know. Suffice it to say, the Emperor is a great man who has lived through many hard trials. He is far more powerful than any emperor I have known in all my days. The real question is where he gets the power, but I go too far. It is unwise to speak of such things, especially to people like you. A powerful emperor, you say, that he doesn't normally have? Let's see. I'm searching for Master Li. We got an intimidation option. I'm searching for Master Li of Two Rivers. That is not a question. How can this Li call himself your master when your skills are so obviously underdeveloped? Who's getting cheeky now? You have not even told me what this Li is a master of. Is he a master of knitting or martial arts? I'm going to give you an answer based on such a flimsy question. I mean, he's right. He's technically correct, which is the best kind of correct, but don't be a jackass about it. Perhaps your master was so frustrated by your ineptitude that he decided to quit and leave his home in Two Rivers. I certainly wouldn't blame him. He acts like some old people I've met in real life. Ugh. You grumbling old windbag, shut your mouth and keep it closed. Shindu falls silent, obviously afraid. He shrinks away from you. Well, he did insult me, so I was just like, shut the f up, old man. Alright, anyway. Looks like we've we've told an old man to shut up. We've learned of an excited man who likes fighting. Fight for fight, fight for fight. And we got to know the princess a little bit better. And we learned about someone's crazy idea about how clouds are formed. Only in the Jade Empire. But what else is left in the Scholar's Garden? Will we learn some new information? Will a fancy foreigner come upon our ears and change our perception about the world around us? Find out next time in the next episode of Jade Empire. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. And I'll see you next time.